Spanish investigators announced yesterday that they believe they have found the remains of one of the greatest Spanish writers of all times. I'm talking about Miguel de Cervantes, this nearly 400 years after he died. The famed author of Don Quixote, considered by many the first modern novel, requested to be buried in a convent in Madrid before his death in 1616. The convent was later rebuilt, and the exact whereabouts of Cervantes' tomb has been a mystery ever since. But for the past year, a team of investigators using infrared cameras, 3D scanners, and radars have been trying to locate the author's remains under this church in central Madrid. Well, I have a quote from the Wall Street Journal that says that the researchers said that they weren't able to categorically identify Cervantes' remains in a Madrid convent after 4 centuries of deterioration that had left many of the bones as fragments. But based on historical documentation and archaeological evidence compiled over the past year, they said that they determined that they had found the remains of Spain's Prince of Prose. Nick, this is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Spanish literature. And this is one of the biggest mysteries in the Spanish literary world. Where are the remains of Cervantes?
I'm glad they found it. I was really worried. You know, it's really cool, and I always love when you hear a story like we just found, you know, a tomb of 800 people under this supermarket in Paris or something like that. It's always so fun, and it's like, it's a mystery because we don't know where he was, and it's like, it's cool to finally find it and see this old tomb with his initials on it. Cool. And it's like, it's exciting. It doesn't even matter, even if he wasn't, you know, some big, huge writer. It's always exciting to find some really old stuff buried deep underground. It's like you just open this
like connecting
capsule.
the dots of history.
Yeah, you just open up this capsule like that hasn't changed since, you know, 1616, and it's just like opening, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, so
this is cool.
People have a little reference. Cervantes died the same year, 1616, than Shakespeare. So they're contemporary, and what Shakespeare was to poetry and verse, Cervantes was to prose. And the interesting thing is that, unfortunately, most of the bones are reduced to fragments, so it's going to be hard to do investigations compiled to the historical knowledge that we have. Like, we know that Cervantes, although he became really, really famous after the fact, in life, he died poor as a soldier. He never got the recognition of his work on life. But we know that he was a soldier for many, many years. We know of several injuries that he had in one arm. Now they won't know necessarily if it's Cervantes because the bones are so fractured that they can't find, you know, the position.
So we rely on things that we've heard, right?
Exactly. Things that we've heard, historical accounts, and the fact that they did found the group of people that he was known to be buried with.
Yeah. And so it's like that's giving us a big clue because this could be any MC, right? This could be Michael Cucaracha, but it is him most likely because of who he's buried with and the way that they described his burial. So that's cool. So we kind of rely on 400-year-old information, which is really cool in itself.
We're also going to do DNA. They're going to do DNA testing to compile it with other, at least to know that the timetable is correct and these bones correspond to that period of time, because I don't think they have any other DNA samples from Cervantes.
Probably not.
But we want to know what you think. Is it important for us to find these hidden points in history? If you're into literature and have a story about Cervantes, share it with us in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the Lib TV.